Welcome to the inside of my brain. I am Jonah Taylor, and in this podcast, I will, over many different episodes, be sharing with you what's going on with my mind, what's in my mind, what's going on there. And right now, I am kind of scared. So I tried to record this yesterday. But then it was too noisy and everything. I was like, I don't want to give like some weird background noises in the background. Well, they're inside of my brain and inside of my mind because, you're not really inside of my mind if there's all these background noises going on. And then I tried to record about 10 minutes ago, and as you can see, the wall behind me there's like a like the sound things. I don't know how to explain them. They're like rigid pieces of black foam stuff, help with the audio and stuff. And you could hear it's like I hear something moving in this wall. It's happened beforehand. And that is why I have a baseball bat with me, because I just don't like the sound of like something cluttery behind me, kind of moving around. So I came in here earlier and right before this, and I was whacking the wall because I didn't know if there's anything in the wall that's just gonna suddenly jump out and like eat me. I'm trying to figure out what it could be. I feel like it has to be some type of bug or rodent. I don't. It doesn't sound huge, but you can definitely hear it's there. So right now, I don't know what it is, and I'm kind of scared of what it could be. I'm hoping it's not anything that's going to jump out and eat me or do anything like that. I don't think it will, but there is a possibility it will, and I gotta admit, that is not a possibility I like to play out inside of my mind. And, so this podcast, like I said earlier, is just going to be just kind of things that I have been thinking. As you know, I do a lot of different things. You probably don't know, but I do a lot of different things. I do podcasts, I do YouTube, I do all these different things, just for fun, really. I have an actual job, and these are just kind of things I do for fun. I want you guys to, I guess, know what's going on in my mind, because, sometimes I don't understand what's going in my mind, and, basically, it's kind of like my therapy session of me trying to figure out what's actually going on inside of my brain. And recently, well, except the thing crawling in the wall behind me, getting ready to suck my brain out, I've been trying to think. Actually, I wasn't going to do this morning, but I was actually going to do normal work type of stuff, but I'm actually working on building out a site or whatever to sell something. But I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get all this done today because I have to, because I'm going out of town tomorrow. And then I'm like, oh, but I need these things from other people. So I asked them for the things from other people, and they didn't respond in the first 5 minutes. And I was like, how is this gonna work? And I'm like, I can't really get this done until they respond, because I have to get them to respond so I can ask someone else for like a video we have to get done, but I'm not sure exactly what way we're going with stuff, and I just couldn't figure it out. So I was like, I'll give them time to think about it. If they don't respond, they don't get the project done this weekend, because I am leaving. And I was like, might as well just share what's going inside of my mind in the meantime. So recently, I've been trying to figure out what lane to go down. As you know, I like a lot of different things, and I did this challenge on YouTube that I did like a short every hour for 7 days, just for fun. It gained me over, like, it was from a channel I started from scratch, gained 1,000 subscribers in a day, and now I'm looking at that channel, and I couldn't decide exactly what I wanted to do. Because I was like, I kind of want to go a gaming route, because I like games, and I also want to go a sports route. It was like, I'm a big sports guy, but at the same time, I was like, I kind of just want to show a whole bunch of things that I'm doing in real life, and some fun things to do. I just want to do some fun things with people, kind of record them and stuff. And then I was like, I'm not sure exactly what to do, so I started to do some of the game stuff too, all that stuff. I just created some series I've been working on, and is actually really fun to make, and I was like, I still want to do these other two things though. So I was like, let's see. So I was like, I also kind of want to do a podcast. I'm all over the place all the time doing a whole bunch of different things. And I got to this point, I was like, you know what? If all of these things are things I enjoy, why am I not doing all of them at once? So I was like, I can, on the main channel, let's just do the gaming stuff. Let's do that stuff because that's fun to do. And not every day, but if you do it once in a while, you just have a blast. And it's just like a thing that if you wake up and you're feeling it, it is a perfect thing to do. And then I was like, I also want to do, I said I wanted to do the stuff that was more real life stuff. So I was like, that main channel, I could always upload it on there, or I could start a podcast, and I could do the YouTube side of that, and I could also upload them to the podcast side. I'm not sure exactly what I'm doing there yet. I might just upload it main channel still. And then I was like, I also want to do the sports stuff. So I haven't figured that totally out yet, but I might want to start more of a podcast style on there. And then the videos, I don't know if they'll be more the podcast style where I'm just talking about random sports stuff. I definitely will upload those, but I also want to do more just playing the sports because, everyone enjoys playing sports. I'm not sure about everyone, but I sure do. And I was like, that's probably a good idea, you got to try out everything. So, yeah, it's fun. So, yeah, that's kind of what my mind's been doing right now. So, we'll see how that works out. I'll keep you guys in the link on that and everything like that. I'm trying to, when you start something, I've been thinking about this recently, and someone said something. I was like, yeah, that's probably true. But I was thinking about like when I started to do a lot of this stuff recently, and I was thinking, hey. I did do a little bit of YouTube and that type of stuff, I think 2020, and looking back at what I know now and the stuff I know, I think, hey, why wasn't I doing that stuff? Why didn't I keep going? Because I did I don't know, maybe I think it was 6, 7, 8 uploads on that channel. It was just something I did for fun with my brother. And then got to the point, I was like, I have school starting again, all this stuff. I don't know if I have time for this. We're really not getting that much traction. So I would say the initiator of the one that said, hey, let's move on from this. And I think about, hey, what if I would have kept that going? What if I would have started doing this stuff earlier? And imagine how big I would be. And I was kind of telling this to some people I know, and they're like, hey, it's never good to, it's good to know what the past, but not dwell on it too much. And one thing they said that really struck out with me is hey, everyone thinks that once they find the thing they really like. And I was like, that it works in every situation. If you, I don't know, there's every instance in life. If you finally find a I don't know, maybe a hobby you really like doing, you're like, why didn't I find this so long ago? If I started this so much sooner, imagine how much more of enjoyment I would have had over this time and all this type of stuff. It's good to say, hey, yes, it would have been better if I started earlier, but think about how much it's impacting you at that time. It would have been cool if you started earlier, but imagine how much you'll grow over the next few years. It's better to be more look more into the future, I think, than to be looking more into the past. Be thinking, hey, yeah, this thing happened in the past, but imagine now knowing what you do know, how incredible the future you can make it. So even with this podcast, I was like, hey, imagine if I would have started this years ago. Imagine there'd be probably a way bigger audience. I would have had way more experience by now. And the podcast quality would probably be better. But I'm like, hey, just imagine if I keep doing this for a while. Imagine how much that will grow. And how much better I will become. It's really something I'm a big believer in is the thing of always improving. And always learning something new, always doing something new. That's why I think education is so important. Even though, people say, hey, the system isn't as good as it could be, and that's true. It's not as good as it could be, but everything has improvements that can be made. But just the act of learning something new, trying something new, it's usually always beneficial. You're always going to learn something from that you can apply to something else. And for the most part, it's always beneficial to be engaging yourself in something new. And one thing that I've really learned through the school process is, yes, it is important to know some of the basic stuff, but what it really taught me was, hey, if you really want to know something, there's a way to learn it. And once you figure out that thing you want to learn, it's not a hassle to learn it anymore. It's something you want to be learning. You know, everyone has their thing that they'll never get bored researching about, learning about, and that's really what it was for me, is to find something that I really was passionate about, to the point where I enjoyed everything around it. And I think a lot of the life, especially while you're younger, is finding that passion. And once you find that passion, everything opens up for you. Because life becomes easier, it becomes more enjoyable. You're able to share what you're passionate about with others, and all of that. And like I said, this also relates to the business side. I work for, I said I have a normal job. I do a lot of marketing, advertising, and just like with the job, there's those people that are like, hey, this is just quick interaction. We're going to get the money from you, whatever. And a lot of people go into business thinking, I wouldn't say a lot of people. I even catch myself at times going into it like, hey, I want to make as much money as I can. And that is not always what that's not what you should be going into a business. The product is there. The reason a product should be sought after is to improve someone's life. And if you go into a business saying, hey, this is something that is going to improve people's lives, instead of thinking, how much money am I going to make, think about how many lives am I going to change. And once you flip that framework inside of your brain, it becomes much easier to work. It becomes much easier to interact with your customers and everything, because you're providing them with value that will help them in their life. And not saying making money is a bad thing or anything. It's part of it. But once you are helping them, and if they get the value, they will want more and come back for more. Providing value is probably one of the biggest things you can do within business. I don't know why I went off that random tangent, but my mind is business oriented of some sort, like I said, my life's been interesting that way, in the fact that when I first started off, everyone as a kid has that one thing that they sought out and they're like, hey, that's something I want to do. And in most circumstances, if you look back at what you said you wanted to be in elementary compared to what you become, or even what you say you want to be later in life, through like high school, college, and then on, it's a lot different in most instances. Like most kids, I grew up, I like sports. I was like, yay, professional athlete, here I come. And then, and then as you get older, you start to realize, in some instances, you're not built for that. Like with me, tendonitis everywhere for me. That's what happened with me. It was all that stuff. And then also, just sometimes things don't work out in some areas. But I always realized through those instances it's always important to figure out what you're taking out of that. Because I got to the point where I was like, hey, sports aren't the thing. And I thought about, hey, where is this going to lead me? And it always leads you down a different path. So what I did is I was like, hey, sports isn't going to work out. Where I still really like sports, what else can I do to get into the sports area? And I was like, hey, there's front office, there's GMs, there's managers. And I was like, hey, that sounds really fun. I still get to be in the sports area. and everything like that. And then recently, as I've found out more stuff, like I said, I told you some things I enjoyed and some of that stuff. I also went a little more business side with my job, and that has taught me even more. And the more I learn about things that I like, the more I'm able to transfer those into things that I want to do. So like with the GM manager stuff, I was like, hey, this would be a fun thing to do. But now that I've learned about other things I like to do, like YouTube and podcasts and everything, now I can integrate both things I like into one. So you can take, hey, I really like the sports stuff, I really like all this stuff, and I really like the YouTube stuff, let's do those together. And that's kind of what's led me here in a way, is just the continual finding that path. And once you find that path and the passion, it's pretty simple from there. I know I'm making it sound easy. It does get a little harder in some instances, but that's really where the path is carved, is, again, finding those passions. You're welcome for these for the life lessons today inside of my brain. Yeah, let's get off the life lessons. Let's go to something else. I don't know if I'm a very good life lesson person, knowing that I don't have too much life experience compared to others, but I'd like to think that what I know has some resonance in knowing what to do in life. Anyway, wow. Another thing that my brain just went to is this bottle of Dasani I have with me, and I don't know how it got there. I don't know how I got it, in the way that I went into the garage, and it was sitting there, and I was like, oh, there's a bottle of Dasani. I went to see the cap, and the lock was still on it, and I was like, huh, that's interesting. Why the lock's still on it? And what do they call it? Seal? It was still sealed. I was like, oh, so no one's used it. And I was like, okay, I'll use it. You know, I needed some water. This is when I was going to record yesterday. Before, it got a little too loud to do it. And I was like, I have no idea how this got there. And I was like, there's always cases of water. So I looked at the case of water, but none of them were Dasani. And this was the only bottle of Dasani. And I don't remember ever getting Dasani. So whoever left this in the garage, thank you for the Dasani. Honestly, it's hard for me to taste the difference between water when I'm drinking. So from like different brands, I don't understand the whole, hey, this is my favorite brand thing. Water is water pretty much for me. But if there was a sponsorship, I'd probably lead one way or the other. I'd say no, Dasani is king. It's king. But anyway, to be honest, what I usually do with water bottles is I refill them. So it's not like I'm using their water over and over again. I'm like, hey, it's a water bottle. Why don't I just keep using it, So I'll drink all the water in it, and then I'll just keep refilling it till the bottle gets a little too worn, and then I move on. Or I'll also use like a Gatorade bottle, whatever. Yeah, because that's just something I do. If you wanted to know about how I drink water. Anyway, that's probably it for today's episode. Make sure to drink some water, and I'll see you guys next time inside of my mind.